In theory, the question of did giants ever exist sounds completely insane and downright unrealistic. Giants are a myth. They only belong in fairy tales and urban legend, right? Well, not exactly. Modern-day archeology and anthropology have continued to uncover new evidence that giants once walked the earth over the years, and every brand new discovery is damning more than. So, today, we're going to take a look at 9 real proofs that giants exist. Number 9. Death Valley Giants. Located in eastern California, Death Valley is one of the hottest and driest places in the world. It's said that despite this extreme weather condition that would make anyone avoid living there at all costs, there were people that inhabited the area around 9,000 years ago, and among them were giants. So you might be wondering, how did people come to this conclusion? The story all started in 1931 when Dr. F. Bruce Russell stumbled upon a mysterious discovery while trying to find a work opportunity in cave mining. He was in Death Valley when he noticed that there was a network of tunnels that seems like they haven't been discovered before. Dr. Russell enlisted the help of Dr. Daniel S. Bovey, and the two of them entered a tunnel that led them to the mummified remains of a human being, but it was unlike any mummies they had ever seen before. The mummies were 8 to 9 feet tall, and they were dressed in what's believed to be dyed sheepskin. In the same area, they also found a plethora of artifacts with Egyptian and American Indian designs on them, which led them to the belief that this was the burial place of someone higher up in the hierarchy. They went into another tunnel in the cave to find mummified remains of dinosaurs, elephants, and tigers. Investors joined in to create cooperation that will fund perhaps one of the greatest discoveries in history. However, all their hopes and dreams were cut short when Russell was unable to find the cave once again, and he shortly disappeared months later without leaving a single trace. Number 8. Lovelock Cave. Have you ever wondered that if the giants once roamed the earth like a lot of people believe, where exactly did they live? Luckily, the Lovelock Cave might be the key that will unlock this mystery and take us one step closer to finding the truth. The Lovelock Cave is an archaeological site measuring 150 feet long and 35 feet wide. According to a Paiute oral history that was later written down in 1882 in a book by the daughter of a Paiute Indian chief, the cave used to be home to red-haired cannibalistic giants who were described as a small tribe of barbarians. It's said that the Paiutes filled the cave's entrance with brush and set it aflame to annihilate the cannibalistic giants. It wasn't until 1911 that someone was able to dig up the cave after it had been covered with a 6 feet deep layer of guano. Another digging operation took place in 1924, and that's when they discovered something that was nothing short of fascinating. More than 10,000 of archaeological specimens were found in the cave, alongside a bundle of giant human bones. Number 7. The Giant Footprint of Pingyan. There isn't any evidence as condemning as the one that has been set in stone, literally and figuratively, and this is the exact case of the giant footprint of Pingyan. Being a rather recent discovery, the giant footprint of Pingyan was a strange discovery made on August 24, 2016. It was thanks to a group of photographers who were wandering the village of Pingyan Village in Guizhou, China, that this giant footprint was found. According to the experts that immediately flocked to the site to carefully examine the footprint, its measurements were taken at 57 centimeters for the length of the footprint and 3 centimeters for the depth of the footprint in the stone. It's worth noting that the average foot size for men is 18 centimeters and for women it's 16.5 centimeters. It wouldn't be fair to compare the average foot size of people to that of giants, mainly because it's very logical to think that this footprint could have possibly belonged to someone with gigantism, a rare condition that causes bones to continue growing to up to 7 to 9 feet tall. But even so, Jason Orlando Rodriguez Hernandez a Venezuelan young man who has gigantism and is currently the Guinness World Record holder for having the largest feet in the world. His feet measure 40 centimeters. And this is the world record holder. So, convinced yet? Upon further investigation, it is believed that the fossilized footprint dates back to the prehistoric era and could possibly be concrete evidence that proves giants did exist at one point in time. Number 6. 14 feet tall giant bones. One might argue that fossilized footprints being man-made doesn't sound too far-fetched. It would be a near impossible thing to pull off, but it's still possible. However, what isn't possible is to fake giant remains that are another proof that they existed. The 14 feet tall giant leg bones were discovered in the Euphrates Valley in southeast Turkey while construction workers were doing roadworks. Several tombs were uncovered at the site, and the director of Mount Blanco Fossil Museum was asked to sculpt the giant leg bone, and when he did so, it was found that the bone was more than just massive. It measured 47.24 inches, meaning that the human that this bone belonged to stood at anywhere between 14 and 16 feet. It's believed that the bones can be traced back to the pre-flood period. Number 5. The Wisconsin Giant. It was the year 1912 when 18 strange skeletons were found near Lake Delavan in Wisconsin. But these skeletons were unlike what you'd usually expect to find at a dig site. They were ginormous. But interestingly enough, their size wasn't the most shocking fact about the bones. They also possessed unusual features. Right above where the eye socket is, the skull slopes straight back, with the jawbones being pointed and sharp, which are characteristics you'd find in the skeleton of a monkey. In addition, it was also found that the teeth at the front of the mouth weren't incisors. They were molars. Number 4. The Dover Mound Skeletons. When it comes to giant bones and freakish features, there's nothing compared to those that have been found at the Dover Mound in Kentucky. When the mound was excavated, they found a group of skeletons, and each of them had striking differences from one another. For one of the skeletons had a very thick skull and most likely represented the tallest individual of the group. As for the other skeletons, their features ranged from having a prominent bilateral chin, wide bilateral chin, large and vaulted face, rugged head and face, as well as dental abnormalities with shovel-shaped incisors and teeth lying diagonally in the jaw. Number 3. The Giant Skeleton of Central City. Leveling a mound located between Madison and Jackson Avenues in Central City that was obstructing the way was the main focus of construction workers. However, what really happened the day was more than just removing a mound. It was more of uncovering a hidden piece of history. As they were working at the site, they spotted a giant skeleton peeking out from the base of the mound. They couldn't determine the exact height the skeleton measured, but it's believed that it's at least 7 feet tall. Underneath the dirt, they also found prehistoric relics that belonged to the skeleton, like massive copper bracelets, beads, arrowheads, and stone hatchets. Number 2. Sycamore Creek Giants. Another notable discovery that took place in 1913 was that of the Sycamore Creek Giants. A road crew was working near the creek when they stumbled upon what they thought to be a normal prehistoric gravesite. But the truth of the matter was, the gravesite was one that housed giant bones. It was determined that the owners of the skeletons were a race that's undeniable of a giant type, standing at least 8 feet. The thought that the skeleton belonged to a primate was quickly disproved when they found beads buried with the bones. Number 1. The Giant of Castelnau. The majority of giant bones that have been found throughout history aren't generally accepted for one reason or another. However, when it comes to the Giant of Castelnau, it's a different story. The Giant of Castelnau refers to 3 bones that are believed to date back to the Neolithic era. They were discovered in 1890 by anthropologist Georges Vacher de Lepage, who later wrote about his finding in a journal. The journal included a photo of the 3 bones placed next to an average-sized human bone, as well as the location where he found the bones, which was at the bottom of a mound belonging to the Bronze Age period. It's generally one of the most accepted pieces of evidence that giants do exist, as they've been studied over and over again by several experts who deem the bones to be belonging to a very tall human race. According to them, the individual must have been at least 11 feet tall. And that's all the real proof that giants exist that we have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. And before you go, if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe to Weeklypedia and click that notification bell to be alerted whenever we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.